Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, folks, look what I did. Look, I made a special set of glasses so I could see myself and the things I show you on the screen. And more importantly, what you see behind you is an owl. And I have a depiction of this owl on my screen for a specific reason. Dead center in this circle are two eyes that look like curlicues. They come out of the faces that are the Egyptian gods that are on the $1 bill and denoted on the ends of the $1 bill. And to prove that they are Egyptian gods, we have what comes down out of their, underneath their chin are forked beards. Underneath their chin is a forked beard on this side, and underneath the chin is a forked beard on this side. Above the forehead is what is known as a vulture's headdress. This is a vulture's headdress, and this is a vulture's headdress. This is the face of the king, and I will prove this to you beyond any doubt, and then we're going back to the owl. All of this is, of course, in my book, Angels on the Ark. By pushing a button and clicking the link under my video, you can see and read everything I tell you in my videos. These are only excerpts from the book itself, and here is in fact the Egyptian king that appears on the reverse of the $1 bill on either end. This is the boy King Tut, or the boy king, and when you turn it to the side, you will see the forked beard and the vulture's headdress. If you didn't see it so good because of the lighting, this is the forked beard, and that's the vulture's headdress at the top of the boy king's face. Make no mistake about it, folks. You can look up the word forked beard, and you can look up the word vulture's headdress, or you can read my book. It's all inside the volume of my book. And why is it there? I'll tell you why it's there. Because a remnant race of beings that has existed on this planet created the $1 bill and created all the words in the Living Bible to associate themselves with the $1 bill. And here is the owl that appears in Washington, D.C. In its entirety, it is in fact, the eyes are identical to the eyes I just showed you on the reverse of the $1 bill. And then here is the body of the owl. And here below it is a protractor, which is in fact one of the tools used to lay out the streets of Washington, D.C. It appears as if they are owl's legs. This is what the owl stands on. It is because the owl is part of a totem pole that I gave you in another video. To prove that this owl is in fact Washington, D.C., here are the eyes again, and this is an actual aerial photograph of Washington, D.C. This is an actual reality, folks. And here is my owl, once again, the owl that appears on the $1 bill. You can see that for all intent and purposes, these curlicue eyes are the eyes that you just saw on the vertical aerial view of Washington, D.C. They're there for a reason. And now, if you don't think it looks like an owl, let me show you what a real owl looks like from a couple of different angles. I'll just move it around a little bit so in case we don't get the light perfect. Notice the owl immediately above the owl's horns. Notice the owl immediately above the owl's horns. But when I move it up, now notice the owl, the bigger eyes of the larger owl immediately above the owl's horns. This is an owl, folks. It's there for a specific reason. It has meaning that dates back tens of thousands of years. The people that put this stuff there are our forefathers. They may or may not be human. They may or may not be from this world. They are probably from a remnant society that existed on this world, or from a society of peoples that came from another world and populated our world. Either way, no man, I repeat, no man with a 12th grade education that is being given the credit to create all of these pictographs on the $1 bill in the year 1934 from a half a dozen sketches that were given to him in the night or wherever they came from. No one knows. It's the most undocumented piece of human history ever. No one knows where the pictures and the pictographs and the plates were originally designed, because it's all hidden in secrecy. Just like it's hidden in secrecy because this is part and parcel of a movie script or long playwright script that has been played out through history by this ancient race of beings. Sound crazy? Let me tell you what it sounds like, folks. It sounds like you people are dumber than whale shit. Because if you can't see what I can see, it could be either you need a nice set of spruced up glasses like I have, or you need to go out and get an education and start studying the human history and find out why the Catholic Church never mentioned the Great Pyramid in the Bible, and find out why no other religions mention the Great Pyramids in the Bible or any of their other philosophical books. They can't mention it because it was there before their history began. And at that point, folks, I might not look like I'm prophetic in nature, but I assure you that in a couple of 100 years, they'll look at my videos and go, that crazy guy from Howard Beach was 100% right, or 99.9% right, or 99% right, which makes me more right than any of the other people. Because, ladies and gentlemen, 19 months I put out a worldwide challenge to refute my concepts. Just refute one of my concepts in my book, Angels on the Ark. Sent it to George Washington University, to Eric Klein. Won't answer my phone calls, won't return my emails. Sent it to Malloy College in New York City. Won't answer my phone calls, won't return my emails. Sent it to, I sent it to David Icke. He won't answer my phone calls or return my emails. They won't, because my theories are right and their theories are either partially right or completely wrong. And they can't have some crazy guy from Howard Beach, aka on November 25th, 2011, telling the world that an ancient remnant society has existed on this world for tens of thousands of years, and then gives you proof of this ancient society. They can have none of that a carpenter from Howard Beach, Queens, a guy who started out with a square and a ruler from Howard Beach, Queens, building decks and docks from a company called Zolar Craft, Z-O-L-A-R, Zolar Craft. They can't have the people of this world believing that Michael Fazio has proven the existence of a higher power and or an ancient race of beings. They can't have it. They just can't have it. That's why no one will touch my theory. Steven Spielberg was approached from this with my theory, won't touch it. It destroys religion. It destroys the economic structure of the world, because it shows you that there is a false government controlling this world that I happen to agree with, actually. I'm just the person that's exposing it. I am like an intermediary between something and you. That's whatever you want to call this something. Something gives me a lot of this information. A lot of it is done through research, which you can see. I took the pictures. I did the research. This is something, a gift or a curse, whatever it is. This entity wants this information to be known, because apparently they've let me live this long and I can't figure out why. Maybe it's because I agree with their final solution in the end, that there were too many people on this planet and that eventually they're going to annihilate everybody and start over again from scratch, just like they did with the Mayan culture that disappeared off the face of the earth, and the Incan culture that disappeared off the face of the earth, and more recently the Egyptian culture that have disappeared off the face of the earth. We are about ready to be annihilated, and I, for one, am looking forward to the day that I don't have to pay taxes anymore. And by the way, folks, this is a plug for the IRS. What I want you all to do this year is I want you to bust out your checkbook, and anything extra that you don't give the IRS, I want you to give them 75 or 80% of whatever you have left, so that it helps release the burden on the American public. That's what you should do for your country. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country, folks. And at this point, I hope that fella that's going to make the 5-part miniseries is serious, so that we can get this stuff out to the world, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, this is Michael Fazio, day after Thanksgiving, wishing you all a God day, and get me a bigger camera.